There's that funky side guitar music that comes in every Monday through Friday, live at 5 on the Eagle FB Network, YouTube. Check us out, subscribe. Type an IE Newswire, Roy Blecker. You'll see my nice, smiling, shining face. Of course, we'll get to the slow count in California. Slowest count in history of votes of all time. We hold the world's record, but there's nothing going on. No, our elections are purer than the wind-driven snow. Oh, man. Robert Kennedy Jr. was assassinated on this day in Los Angeles in 58 years. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. posted that today. He says, I'm remembering moments like this. Touch football on Cape Cod with my siblings, David, Kathleen, Courtney, and me, as you see the picture of that he posted today on the Tweedle machine coming up. So 58 years ago today, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. passes away. On another sad note, Ned Jarrett, NASCAR champion, one of the 50 greatest drivers. He passed away today at 93. We have his call. He never got to win the Daytona 500, but he got to call the race where his son, Dale Jarrett, won the race in 93, beating out Dale Earnhardt. Here's the call.
Come on, Dale. Go, baby, go. Down there. He's going to make it. Dale Jarrett's going to win the Daytona 500. All right. Oh, look at Martha. Oh, dear.
That was his mom, Martha. Ned got to make the call. He never got to win the Daytona 500, but he won over 50, I believe, 50 Winston Cup races. Son Dale Jarrett was a very successful and multi-time Daytona 500. His son Glenn did some announcing and ran in the Busch Grand National or Xfinity or whatever the O'Reilly series they call it today, and had a successful career both as a pit reporter and a driver. So rest easy, Ned Jarrett, who passes away at 93. How would you like to be on the hook? Take your car in. You're going to get an oil change or whatever fixed at the dealer. Take it in. You get the call. You figure, okay, they're calling to pick it up. Not only has your car been stolen, it was crashed through another building, committing another crime, it appears, or allegedly, and then they want to blame you or you get stuck on the hook for it. Here's a KCRA 3 report from Sacramento. Here we go.
Serviced and says it ended up stolen.
Deputies say the car was later used to smash into a CVS store in an attempted burglary. KCRA 3's Peyton Headley spoke to the man about the ordeal.
I get a call from Placer County that they believe my vehicle is driven through a CVS.
Brian Maydall says he didn't want to believe it.
Maybe they had information off of an old car or got some numbers mixed up. It seemed laughable. Drove down there and another car was in, and there was my car in CVS.
There's his unit stuck in the CVS, and yeah, if the cops are calling you saying, yeah, your car's been stolen and it's been run into a CVS and another crime, you can almost bet your bottom dollar they're correct on that. But here's more from the KCRA 3 report.
Deputies say it was crashed into the Auburn store in an attempted burglary after it was stolen from a Sacramento dealership in late May. Maydal says his car had been at Maida Subaru, where it was being serviced.
I was like, there's no way. This is a concierge level dealership. They wouldn't let that happen.
The Sacramento County Sheriff's Office confirmed thieves took 2 cars and several sets of keys from the dealership. Maydal's car was found at the CVS. The other found abandoned in Sacramento the next day with some of the stolen keys inside.
You know, I've been coming here since I was 16 years old for a long time. I have a lot of loyalty to Maida, and I was met with, the first conversation that they're not liable, and that when I drop it off, I sign something off.
KCRA 3 spoke with the representative from the dealership. They didn't want to go on camera, but called this a very unfortunate circumstance. He says they did everything they could to secure the cars that were stolen. Now, he emphasized they're working with their insurance company and trying to help everyone involved.
My insurance has to cover all this, and I'm just asking the dealership to probably cover a few $1,000s.
After decades at the dealership, Maydal says he hopes their bottom line isn't their top priority.
I just thought it would be a nice gesture for them to make things right by me and do it without trying to make money. I know I spent money here over the years, and it's neither here nor there, but I am a return customer, and I wanted to continue that.
In Sacramento County, Peyton Headley, KCRA 3 News.
No arrests have been made so far, but sheriff's deputies say they are looking for 2 people.
So how would you like to, you drop your car off at the dealership to get serviced or fixed or whatever. It gets stolen.
Yvonne, the #1 rated business.
And you're on the hook for it. Your insurance company has to pay for the damage of somebody. You dropped it off at the dealership. Somebody stole it. It was under their control. Somebody steals it, crashes it through a CVS, and now you got to put, what, is he got to pay? Is he liable for the damage of it crashing through the CVS? Or what? I don't know if he's just liable to fix his car. I don't know. Seems flaky to me. Seems like the car was under the control of the dealership. I don't know how they're not responsible for this, but we'll follow up on that story. Adam Carolla commenting on the elections and our slow vote count and our decisions, everything else. We thought, what happened to Adam? Well, maybe we're not going to get Adam Carolla. Maybe it'll work now. No. I've got it lit up. It's these technical things.
Because you're Democrat, voting for Spencer Pratt and Steve Hilton to save this state and to save the city we all love. You guys are voting for Karen Bass and Javier Baccaria because you're Democrats. And that's all. There's no other legitimate, measurable reason why anybody, through any measurable yardstick ever created, would think Karen Bass was doing. I will be generous and give her a C-. I'll be totally generous and go C- job that she's doing running this city. That is the best and the most generous offer I can make, and anybody who is intellectually honest could not go higher than a C-. So you are only voting for her because she has a D in front of her name. And the Javier Baccaria, he is a dope. They made fun of him, the people in the Biden administration.
Still actively. Susan Rice was publicly tweeting a couple days ago that he's an idiot.
He is an idiot. You can see it in his eyes. He's only there with the Spanish surname, and you're only voting for him because there's a D in front of them. Steve Hilton would run and can run intellectual circles around that dope. So We are voting to save the state. You are voting because you're lazy and you have pride. But it's misplaced pride and you're actually hurting yourself. We are voting for Spencer Pratt and Steve.
This, something that really needs to stop, is what was explained here. Just voting for someone, this is like the old Chicago machines. You put the ballot in, the old punch card ballot, and you pulled the lever and it punched out all the D names and you went in and you went along your way. This monolithic voting is going to kill us all. It's what's got us into the state where we're a laughing stock. Not only on the vote count, everything else. The high prices, running businesses out, the cost of living, and everything else. If you're just going to vote straight Democrat or straight Republican, we're never going to get nowhere. We're not going to get, 58 years after Bobby Kennedy was assassinated here in LA, you're not going to get a Democrat candidate like Bobby Kennedy. Even close. Not going to happen. But here we are. In the state where the laughing stock, no one, it's going to take 30 days to count the votes. Everybody's going nuts. And we're going to keep doing the same thing over and over again, hoping for a different result. How insane, how utterly insane is that? We got ourselves into this pickle. And as Adam Carolla correctly points out, we're absolutely stupid. We're beyond stupid. There's no other explanation. No other logical explanation. This is stupidity at its highest. Gavin Newsom got his butt reamed by Interior Secretary Doug Bergman about the refineries and destroying our way of life in California, the once Golden State.
Certainly, with today's technology and today's capability, we have the ability to drill offshore safely, cleanly, more environmentally sound onshore or offshore than anywhere else in the world. So if you care about the environment, you should want to have all the energy produced here. But California's policies do one thing for sure. They raise the price of energy, including gasoline, for every single Californian. Everybody needs to know.
Doug is exactly correct. We have the ability, not only in the United States, specifically in California, we can drill and pump every ounce of oil we need and we burn in California right here, and we only produce 25% of it. That policy is absolutely flippin' insane.
In California, the reason you're paying more for gasoline than anybody else in the lower 48, more for diesel, is because of the state policies. It's not because of some war overseas. It's because of the policies that the state of California has. And of course, it's just going to
1,000% correct. The buck a gallon right now of the Iraq war, or Iran war, will come to an end at some point, hopefully very soon. The main point is here, the reason gas is $2 a gallon higher in California than anywhere else in the United States is our stupid policies.
get worse. They're regulating refineries out of existence. There used to be 40 refineries in California. Then it was 8, then 7, then 6. They're putting so much pressure. So California not only imports, as Chris said, 60% of their oil from foreign countries. That is a absolute national security risk. The #1 importer into California on February 1st of this year, 2026, was Iraq. So California has a policy. They've turned themselves into an energy desert, an energy island, raising prices, lowering national security. President Trump, we're here today because, of course, he wants every American to have low, affordable, and secure prices for their energy, and that's absolutely essential. Yeah. So
who wouldn't want? I guess Californians, the way they're voting. We don't want low energy. We don't want gas at $3 and $4 a gallon. We love it at 6 and 7. We have an insurance deal going on. If Baccaria gets in and that chick gets in as insurance commissioner who's leading it, they want the government to run the whole insurance agency. Look at the FAIR Plan. That's turned into a disaster. People in the Palisades, Altadena, who've had their homes and lives destroyed, and now they got to fight with the government's drawn-up FAIR Plan.
30 seconds.
To get their money. To try and rebuild their houses. It's been a year and a half and they're still out. As Sean said, we'll be joining the Mighty Met KMET here in a few seconds. Pick up on some of this. And much, much more on today's news.
How about those election voter dumps, huh, Roy? All right, here we go.
Calm.
IE Newswire Daily is on the air.
Following is a pre-recorded program. Views and claims expressed are those of the program producer and are not endorsed by this station. Opinions expressed are not necessarily those of radio station KMET, its management, employees, or affiliates.
That funky slide guitar music that comes on every Monday through Friday, live at 5:30 on the Mighty Met 1490 AM, broadcasting all over the Inland Empire in the aforementioned AM band. Join our vast video audience on the evil Epi Network YouTube. Check us out, subscribe. Type in IE Newswire Roy Bleckert. You'll see my nice, smiling, shining face. Check out our archives on the front end up there. Your car gets stolen out of the dealership. You take it over there to get serviced. They call you up and say, hey, your ride just got stolen and it got crashed through a CVS store. On top of that, you're on the hook for the damage, I don't know, of the car and or the CVS. Something just don't seem right about that. At a minimum. 58 years ago today, Robert F. Kennedy was assassinated on his way to being the President of the United States. A scant, 5 years since his brother had been assassinated as president here in Los Angeles. Bobby Kennedy Jr. put up a photo of his dad and his siblings playing touch football and the memories they had back then growing up as in the Democratic royalty family at the time. The sad part is we don't even have Democrats or close to a JFK or Robert Kennedy on anywhere in the horizon. They're completely kook left-wing nuts. And I'm trying to be kind. I think I'm being very kind with that. But it's going to be a myriad of stuff. Ned Jarrett passed away at 93. Winston Cup champion, winner of 50 races. Well, he didn't win the Daytona 500. We had the call. He got to call his son, Dale Jarrett, holding off the great Dale Earnhardt in 1993 to win his first, I think, of 3 Daytona 500s of that. And Dale was a champion. And it was a very, 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 let's say, highly dramatic moment when that happened. Also, Ned's older son, Glenn Jarrett, was an accomplished driver in of himself in the Xfinity Series and was a pit road reporter, too, for a long time on network TV on that. So, rest easy, Ned Jarrett, at 93. We've been going through the silliness. Doug Bergen, our Interior Secretary, pointed out the reason gas and diesel prices are off the roof are California policies, and we've been through that 10 bazillion times. But the latest is this joke, and I mean total joke, of a vote count. Along with everything else that's gone haywire in California. We don't even know who's going to be in the top 2 in the governor's race and the insurance commissioner and a lot of the congressional races like District 6, which we've outlined. In Brazil, 124 million ballots. They have election results in 2 hours. In France, 34 million ballots, 4 hours. India, 640 million ballots. 640 million. 24 hours. Germany, 51 million ballots, 8 hours. Argentina, 25 million ballots, 6 hours. California, 37 days. 37 days. To count 10 million ballots. 64 more times than India. And we're taking 37 times as long. The insanity of that is absolutely incredible. Bill Asaley was assembly member out here in the IE and then was named first assistant attorney or whatever for Donald J. Trump out here on the West Coast. He's just launched an investigation into voter fraud out here in California. He writes, California's election system has serious structural vulnerabilities. Universal vote by mail with no voter ID requirements creates conditions where fraud can be undetected and unpunished, eroding public confidence. Without commenting on any specific investigation, my office has multiple election fraud investigations underway. In coordination with the FBI in Los Angeles, we will follow the evidence wherever it leads and prosecute any violations of the federal election law to the fullest extent. My office is also working closely with Harmeet Dillon, the Assistant Attorney General under Civil Rights, which has jurisdiction under this, to conduct a comprehensive audit of California's voter rolls. The state has stonewalled every effort to verify that only eligible U.S. citizens are registered to vote. The case is now before the Ninth Circuit of Appeal. My office will not look the other way. We will investigate and prosecute. Every legal vote deserves to be counted. Every illegal vote cancels one out. No truer words have ever been spoken. You constantly, it's ripe for voter fraud. There's 37 days to count 10 million ballots. Okay, when we come back in Monday, pretty much most every county will be pretty solidified. So as I said, watch LA and Alameda. Because then they'll have a pretty good idea of where they need the votes. Just like with Prop 1. In the primary of 24. Well, we took the lead, defeating it, and then all of a sudden, boom, it turns around. And that was right towards the end. Where are they holding the votes? LA and Alameda in the last week. Oh, they just barely squeaked her out. We've got all sorts. We have all sorts of problems. And even if there isn't, let's just say the elections are cleaner than pure wind-driven snow, freshly laid. That doesn't mean in the future or in the past these things have not happened. The longer you stretch the process out, we really have a 60-day process because we have more than 60 days. Well, it is about 60 days. We have 30 days to vote, then 30 days for the counties to certify the election, and then another 7 days for the Secretary of State to certify the state election. But it can go, your vote, you could have cast on the first day. May 5th or 4th or whenever it was. We can go down to like July 1st. And it can finally be counted. Or, oh, gosh, where's this box of ballots? Like we had Jamie Page from the California Post said. You had the pictures. LA County, boxes of ballots everywhere. Nobody's in there counting. Heard the day, there's pictures. I'll see if I can verify it. Come back on Monday. Looks like an almost blind person is verifying the signatures are going. We'll see if that's really true. I'm not going to discount it out of hand. We got problems, as they say, in River City. And while we might have outvoted the fraud in the 2024 election, and possibly the 2016 election on the presidential level anyway, that's why they wanted to lock us in on this stuff. We're the ones responsible for cleaning this stuff up. Donald J. writes, watch California, everybody. Our election process is bad, or worse, than any third world country. The biggest difference is they count their votes much faster, as we have shown. They don't wait 7 days. Hell, we'd be Essen in tall cotton if we got it done in 7 days. They don't wait 7 days to tell you who won, rigging the election during each and every one of them. Americans are ashamed of what is happening, President Donald J. Trump. 7 days would be a hell of an improvement. We got 30. They got 30 days to count the vote. And as in the Prop 1 election, which was a primary, and that was, as far as statewide, that was the only one that's closely contested. They took every 30 days throughout the 58 counties. And voila, they just barely squeaked it in on the end. I hope Spencer Pratt makes it. I'm saying it's 50-50 at best right now that he does. I tend to think the Democrats wouldn't want Steyer versus Baccaria. Because Steyer, he might spend $500,000 or $500 million, $500 million, if he gets in, and then they're going to have to defend Baccaria because Steyer's too much of a wild card even for the Democrats. If it's Baccaria versus Hilton, they don't have to worry about it. If it's Steyer versus that, they're going to have to come up with 100, 200, 300 million to defend Baccaria, and that's money they're not going to have for congressional races or in other states or other close contests. And that's a good chunk of change. Strategically, I don't know why they would want Steyer versus Baccaria, because Hilton's got like about a 2% chance of winning that anyway. I think they're more afraid of Spencer Pratt because if the Spencer Pratt phenomenon catches fire and it's Pratt versus Buffoon Bass for the next 5 months, and he really starts gaining traction, hey, if we knock LA County down about 10%, then that could change the trajectory in a Steve Hilton versus Baccaria race. We don't have to win LA County. We just don't have to lose it like 70-30. If we can get it down to 60-40, 55-45 in LA County, then Hilton's got a chance. So I think from a lot of aspects, even if Spencer Pratt doesn't win LA, if he turns out a lot more Republican, center-right, freedom, liberty type votes, that could cost them in that. So I think Spencer Pratt is their main number one target. But we shall see. We shall see if the gap narrows. It'll be very, very interesting. This is going to be one for the ages. That's why I say it's very very, very interesting. How this will all work out. If I got the reports right, Nithya Raman today outdid Pratt 20%. She needs about 13% plus over Pratt in what we figure is the remaining votes, and she got 20 today. It's next week. They think there's about 200,000 left. If Rahman gets 10% of those 200 ahead of Pratt, he's out. It's going to be a very, next week is going to be completely telling. California is holding some hearings on the looming gas tax hike. Let's see if we can get this report to play.
2 cents a gallon July 1st. That's apparently someone talking about it. We'll find out what this is all about. So yesterday, the Senate Energy, Utilities, and Commerce Committee, that's making sense now. It's a committee, someone yakking, tackled these talks and met with questions from state leaders and gas, oil. That meeting still going on right now with gas prices already straining budgets. How much more can drivers take? Well, Madison Keevy getting answers at a place many of us dread going to, and you guessed it, it's the gas station.
Hitting the road hits wallets hard.
I mean, I can't believe a gallon of gas is $6 or $7 a gallon. That's crazy. That's just crazy.
David's found the cheapest gas in West Sacramento, and he's saving more than a few cents.
You know, I mean, if it wasn't for these prices being just a little bit lower than everywhere else, I mean, I wouldn't be able to survive. I would not be able to go to work, and I'd just go downhill, and I wouldn't be able to take care of my family.
The tough truth, David's not alone. Right now, Californians pay more per gallon than anywhere else in the country.
Californians are being treated like an ATM by the oil refiners once again.
Just before a Senate oversight hearing, Consumer Watchdog President Jamie Court shared the warning he'd go on to give state lawmakers. Without the long-promised oil refinery regulations, drivers will keep paying up.
Oil refiners need to have minimum inventories. They can't let their inventories run this low. They need to have resupply arrangements when their refineries go down, so they can't charge us more.
Refinery closures and outages left the state with reduced inventories. Then the war in Iran.
What we don't know is when a deal will be done between the Trump administration and the Iranians to get oil on the market. And no amount of fancy modeling is going to allow us to predict when the geopolitical situation will be resolved.
The state's top energy leaders shared last month gas and crude oil shipments could only be confidently forecast.
So the CBS Sacramento, it's all Trump's fault. It's the oil refinery's fault. Gavin Newsom's own report that he commissioned that cost us $40 million said refineries are not, they have nothing to do with it. They're not charging any more to refine gas in California than they do anywhere else. The Iran-Iraq war is no consequence of why we are paying $2 a gallon more today and yesterday and 2 years ago and will into the future if we don't change anything. If we don't drill, baby, drill. If we don't get more oil refineries back in here. And we poison the well, who's going to want to come? You think if we elect Baccaria, they're going to say, oh, well, yeah, that's hope. Oh, he's going to do better than Newsom or Brown? Holy freaking cow. But you see this misinformation. After the reports of the refineries, this and Iran war, that, have been totally debunked, we still keep repeating it in the Mockingbird media. The more dangerous part of the lie is if you the first part is if you tell a lie long enough, it becomes the truth. Even more dangerous when those who are telling the lie come to believe it's the truth. And that's what we're getting. Back to CBS LA, Google releasing mosquitoes in California. What? Here we go.
To do that by releasing millions of them into the state, CBS LA's Brittany Ehrman explains the counterintuitive idea.
More mosquitoes may be the last thing you want to hear heading into summer, but experts say bringing millions of mosquitoes here could reduce the population. In this case, more is less. At first glance, it may sound a little unusual.
My initial instinct is no, but I'm open to information.
Google wants to release millions of mosquitoes into California.
Bites, itchiness. They love me.
But experts say that plan could actually reduce the number of pests carrying diseases. Google's Debug project is asking the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency for approval to release 32 million male mosquitoes into California.
The good news is that male mosquitoes do not bite, so there will be no increase in disease risk or biting pressure resulting from these releases.
The Greater Los Angeles County Vector Control District monitors mosquitoes and the diseases they can carry.
We're excited to see what they can do with it.
Experts say when the male insects mate with female mosquitoes in the wild, the eggs don't hatch. So over time, that can cause the mosquito population that carries diseases to decrease.
I do not feel there is any risk to our residents or to changing our environment permanently.
Similar theories have been tested in California. Previous trials in Fresno reported major reductions in mosquito populations.
Where they actually irradiate the males before releasing them, and that's specifically for Aedes aegypti, and that's the mosquito that spreads like dengue fever.
He says if the proposal is approved, residents in the state could see fewer mosquitoes buzzing around.
And if it works out well, that means even less mosquitoes, at least of the type that they're targeting.
So, one thing we should learn today, if you get bit by a mosquito, you know it's a female mosquito because male mosquitoes don't bite. The question I have is, why is Google doing this? Google's a tech and info company. What the hell are they getting involved in something like this? That seems sketchy in of itself. I get the deal of doing what they're doing, and if it works out, hey, that would be great. I don't know anybody. I'm sure there's an environmental reason why mosquitoes and why you need them and why da-da-da-da-da. But then they are annoying as all heck. Like those Asian ankle biters. Holy Christ. But then again, why is Google wanting to release mosquitoes? Even if there's nothing going on, it just seems suspicious as all heck. I don't know, go do something fun this weekend. Night of Destruction out of Parasado Speedway. You want to make the trip up to Santa Maria? CRA sprint cars will be running up there. Sure, there'll be should be a good weekend. You go to the mountains, the beach. If you can afford $7 a gallon gas. Hopefully people will do more local, especially here in the IE where we need it. Even if it's just having a barbecue and kicking back with burgers and a beer. Man, sometimes you just got to unwind and relax. Because Monday we'll be back way too soon and we'll be all back on the grind again. And especially after this election, well, even in California, we can't even end the election torture. We'll have to endure that for another 3 or 4 weeks. Hopefully everybody will have a great, safe, fun weekend. Be back on Monday ready to hit it and hit it hard. That'll do it for this week. As we usually say at this time, mandatory you're back here in 23 hours. Why? To hear the best darn show in the whole wide world. Until then, see ya.
The preceding was a paid program.
All right, Roy. Well, have a good weekend. I predict by Monday the vote dumps. Pratt will be in third, and Hilton will be in third also.
I don't think it'll be that quick, but hey, you never. I wouldn't count it out, but I don't think it would be that quick. I think it'll take them it'll take them the rest of the week to get Pratt in, and then if they're going to do Hilton, it's probably going to be in more than a week. It would really look too suspicious if they did it that quick. But hey, I wouldn't put it past them.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it past them either.
I think Pratt's the one in more danger, as I said. I think that's the one they're really more afraid of for a lot of different reasons. But we will see.
Yeah. All right. Well, I will talk to you Monday.
You got it.
Bye.
Yes. I think my phone is out at your place. Did anybody turn in a phone out there?
No, it was in your pocket. I don't know if you remember when we were talking, you had it in your side pocket, and then you stood up and you just went to the door.
Okay, because I don't have it, and I put the locator and it's showing that it's there. I mean, maybe it's.
Then if the locator says it's there, then it's there.
So, is there anybody at your office?
No, but I can go open it.
Well, okay, I'm gonna drive out there and see. It might have flipped out like when I got in the car or something.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna drive out there. Well, I don't know if I can't find it. I'm gonna drive out there and see if I can't. Are you gonna be by the? Because the only thing. What's that?
Where does the locator show that it's at?
It shows that it's Island Fairview.
No, I understand that.
Oh.
Usually it's a little bit more precise. Is it in the parking lot? Is it in the lobby? Is it in
Hell, I don't know. Well, now you're getting. It's just. This is the first time I've ever did this, so it's just saying.
Just try to zoom in to where it shows.
Okay, oh, got it. Okay, let me. Plus. It looks like it may be inside your office building.
Okay, well we can go. Let's go now, and that way I can call them when we're there.
Okay, yeah. Well, I hate to have you drive all the way out there.
Yeah, but how are you gonna get in?
Yeah, that's why I say I don't know if you can. Fuck. It looks like it. Yeah, because it's centered in because it looks like if I'm reading this thing right.
No, just go.
Okay, I'm gonna head up there.
Just go. Oh, there's usually a guy that does overtime. He may be there.
Okay, I'm gonna head up there. If I come back or whatever, then we'll have if it's inside, it's not that big a deal. At least I know it's not stolen or something.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's locked up inside, big fucking deal.
The thing is, the cleaners may be there.
Okay.
So drive over there and go to the front door.
Uh-huh.
And there's an intercom and look for my name and it'll call me.
Okay.
Yeah, because it'll take you what, 15 minutes?
Yeah, about that.
Okay, I'll time it.
Okay, yeah. If I'm not calling you by 6:30, something's up.
Yeah, no, call me.
Okay. I'm gonna head there right now.